Welcome back to our channel, the Mauro. My name is Peter and I'm gonna be showing you and I'm gonna be teaching you something very cool, very exciting today. Always saying exciting, always saying cool. Yes, of course, because making pizza is exciting and it's cool. Today, we're not gonna use any machine here, so you see that we're only gonna be making a pizza dough by hand. And what kind of dough we're gonna make? We're gonna make a contemporary or a contemporana pizza dough, yet it's a direct dough, so we're not using any pre-fermentation, no pulish or no bigger involved. And of course, we're gonna be following the method towards, a direct pizza dough, so the content of the yeast will be a bit upgraded, so a bit more added. Also, the water will be pulled up a little bit, around to 70%. And why it's perfect? Because it's very easy to make it. I will demonstrate it to you straight from the beginning, step by step. And then if you make it, you can make fantastic, easy pizza dough at home by hand. So you don't need to buy an expensive machine, you don't need to buy an expensive Spiro mixer. But let's go quickly through the recipe and see to ourselves, and acknowledge everything, write down everything. If you follow the method exactly that I show you, then you're not gonna have any problems. As I always say, there is no secret. And if you have not subscribed yet, then please do so, because it is very, very important for us to make sure to see that you are here with us. So just please hit the like button, hit the little bell, and then if you have any comments, you have any questions, don't be shy, ask it, comment it. We are always open for it, and I'm always willing to help as much as I can to the best of my knowledge. But let's go quickly through to the recipe. Okie doke, so best, or I would say the perfect pizza dough for your home. Yes, perfect. Why it's perfect? Because it makes bloody damn good pizzas. So quickly go through the simple part. We're gonna use flour, of course, because pizza is flour. We're gonna use water. Very important, the temperature. Make sure, knowledge it for yourself. 0 to 4 degrees Celsius. It's 32 to 41 degrees Fahrenheit, 6 grams of fresh yeast and 30 grams of salt. As I always say, sea salt, fine sea salt, not iodized. Very important, because iodine will be killing fungus on the yeast, and it will damage the yeast structure. Quickly go through again. So flour, water, yeast, salt. The water content or the hydration will be set to 70%, so it means that if we're using 1000 grams of flour, 700 grams of water will be added. The flour which we're using, it's Nuvola from Caputo, W marker 280, and then as I said, 6 grams of fresh yeast and salt 30 grams. And the method, first part, we will be adding the yeast into the water, we will be dissolving the yeast inside the water, then gradually adding the flour, and then towards the end we will be adding the salt. Salt always comes at the end. If you've been following my videos already, then you see because salt damages the structure of the yeast, and then also it will damage, the power of the yeast. So, and then once the dough is ready, then we will be portioning it, put it into containers, and then I will explain you how to keep it and then how to maintain it. This dough, it's ideally a 24-hour dough, which means that depending on the keeping, we will be able to use it in the next 24 hours. So, enough with the talk, let's make some pizza. So, we already measured out the flour. Here, I got an empty bowl. What I'm gonna do basically, very easy, the water is here. The way how I cooled it down, I put some ice cubes inside. You see there's still a bit of ice in there. So I just add all the water and then I put the yeast inside there. The first thing first, I'm gonna use a small wire whisk. Basically, this time what we did is just made sure that the yeast actually dissolves inside the water. You see it's absolutely homogeneous, so there is no bits and pieces inside, it's absolutely dissolved. Now, first part, just adding one, another one, just a little more flour inside. And then again, I will be using the whisk again, making sure that it absolutely gets through inside it. So as you see, we basically, dissolve the part of the flour inside the water. This time, we put the whisk on the side and add all the rest of the flour inside. Basically, since we're not using a machine, we're not using a mixer, our body is going to be the mixer. If you are left-handed, you will be using your right hand to move the bowl, and you will be using the spatula with your left hand. If you're right-handed, you will be doing it exactly the opposite way. So by the left hand, you grab the bowl, you will be keep turning it by 180 degrees all the time, and with your right hand on the right hand, you will be moving the flour and the water mixture at the same time. So, from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock, and then just keep stirring. And just keep going, basically, to make sure that all the water gets absorbed, and then you keep folding it into one nice bowl until it becomes just one lump of dough. By the side on the bowl to make sure you scrape the flour off properly. Once basically, actually all the parts, all the dry flour bits, been absorb together and be moved together, we can just simply fold it out onto the counter, onto the table. As you see, you know, we're forming a nice structure in front of us. Now, first part first, you know, what we're trying to do is to make sure that we're not kneading it with full hands, because the human body temperature is around 36.5 degrees Celsius. My dough is cold, and I want it to be cold, because if I'm keeping my hand on it constantly, this heat which is in my body, it will be only transferred to the dough, and then the temperature will rise very quickly, and it will not do what I want to do. It will become very soft, it will be very difficult to move it, it will be very difficult to knead it. So, first part first, I'm only using the tips on my finger, and if you look at it, you know, the structure is in front of me, and by my imagination, I'm going to divide it into 3 equal sections. So if you look at it, 1, 2, and then 3. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to fold it once, twice, 3 times. Now, I'm going to turn it 90 degrees, leave it like that. Repeat the action, 1, 2, 3. Then again, the structure is in front of me, 1, 2, 3. Repeat the action. Again, I'm still using my fingertips, yes. 1, 2, 3. And as the dough starts moving together, just keep repeating the action, but yet I'm already using the inner part of my palm. And then, you know, still, this time I can be working the salt inside as well. You could ask the question that why we did not put the salt in the water at the beginning. It would have been easier. Yes, of course, but I didn't want to, because I said at the beginning, you know, that salt comes really at the last part, because I actually want the dough to absorb it, not the water to dissolve it. We're pretty much okay at the moment. We're just gonna shape it, tighten it, a little bit of olive oil on the top, as it is, just rub it on it, and then using the metal bowl which we were using previously, we're going to cover it and then leave it to rest for 10 minutes. And then we come back in 10 minutes time, and then we're gonna fold it again, and then we're gonna be able to shape it. Okay, so if you come a bit closer with the camera, I can show you that, you see, it looks a little bit rustic on the top, you know, it's not smooth at all. But been rested now, so what we're gonna do, you know, I'm gonna show you a very simple trick. Basically, I'm just gonna put my hands on there, lift it up, turn it upside down, press it down, and then lift, pull it on the side a little bit, and then pull 1 time. Turn 90 degrees to the left, turn upside down. You should see a straight line here in the middle. Then we do this again, 2 times. Again, repeat the action, line in the middle. 3 times, yes. Number 4, line straight in the middle, repeat. Oh, okay, and then because I'm right-handed, I'm gonna pull from the left from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock. If you're left-handed, you do the other way around because it's comfortable in a way like that. 1, 2, 3, and then 4 times, just voila. Now come again and look how bloody smooth it is. Ooh, like a baby's butt. And then a little bit of olive oil on the top, and then we can portion our dough straight away. Some people would say that leave it bulk, leave it like this. You can do that. You can leave it overnight like this and refrigerate it straight away from this moment, and then portion it in the morning and then use it straight away, leave it at room temperature. I'm gonna do it exactly the opposite way. I'm gonna portion it out now, and then I'm going to leave it out at room temperature for a while and then refrigerate it. But I'm going to repeat these details for you just now, right after I have made my pizza balls. So 1 kilo flour we used. It should be making exactly 6 good size of ball for us. So ordinary storing container, you see, nice and deep, you know, it's 10 centimeters, so it's exactly about 4 inches deep. That's what we want, because our dough will be rising, it will be tripling itself. Okay, so holding it exactly the way how we learned it before. Now that we already see exactly 6 perfect size of the ball, weighing in between 280 to 285 grams. Perfect size for contemporary pizza. If it will be Classica, it will be a little bit smaller, somewhere between 255 to 275. One thing, now, what's the plan? What we're gonna do? Since I don't want to bake this pizza today, I want to make it tomorrow. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave it out in room temperature on the counter, covered of course, perfectly, you know, for about 3 to 4 hours, until it almost doubles its size or even triples it, that until the balls they're going to reach and touch each other both ways from each side. And then once they already about doubled, a little bit bigger than doubling by themselves, you know, then I'm going to put it in the fridge and leave it there up until tomorrow. So I will be baking it from now, I would say almost in 24 hours time, about 20 hours time from now. So 2 to 4 hours of room temperature, depending on how hot it's inside the area where you're preparing the dough, and then refrigerate it. Then, before I would be baking it, you should take it out at least half an hour prior to that, so it can basically come up closer to room temperature, so it's easier to handle it, easier to stretch it, and then it will be easier to bake it as well. So 2 to 4 room, and then 16 to 24 in the fridge. So that's for now. Let's take a break and then come back tomorrow and let's bake some pizzas. So 24 hours has gone past, our dough had rested in the fridge, and have a look at these bad boys. They look fantastic, they look absolutely gorgeous. We could leave them out on room temperature a little bit more, and then we could make them to rise a little bit more, yet, you know, these are perfect at the moment for the thing, for the purpose, what we want to use it for. Enough of the talk, and let's bake some pizza and see how our direct dough will behave and how it will do the job for us. I grab some rimacinata and we're gonna basically take it out, spread it, stretch it, put some tomato sauce, some mozzarella on top, and then bam, in the oven. You know, don't be shy with the rimacinata, you know, because you want to make sure that there's enough dust in there. Keep pushing the air towards the outside part. Couple of basil leaves. Some beautiful mozzarella, a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Always stretch it on the pail, not on the table. Bingo. Soft and crunchy. Oh yeah. Let me grab a pair of scissors and see what it looks like. Having the fact that it's a direct pizza dough, it doesn't look too shabby, I could say that. Yeah, it's ooh. Fantastic. Look at these. We already cut it, we already smelled it. There's one thing we didn't do, we didn't taste it. Yet, the most important thing, what I always say, it's still missing from it. It's the Maldon sea salt. It's not Italian, it's British, but it always helps to develop and bring out all the real flavors of the tomato, the mozzarella, the basil, everything. Got the nice fresh basil leaves. great dough. And there is only one thing left to do. It's eat some pizzas. Bloody good. If you want to say that, Miriam, it's very simple. Code of